We're supposed to be in the stage, Carly.
We're back.
Hey, everyone. We're back. It has been a day, clearly. Um, yeah, it's been what, 2 weeks now? I'm gonna see. I was just about to
Yep.
share the link. I like we hit live and then we've got 30 seconds to like get our act together. And I was like, I need to tell some people that we're doing this. Let me send it on.
We can
So,
start though. Good
yeah,
evening. How do you start it? Good morning, good afternoon,
good
and good
afternoon and good
evening. Welcome
yes.
to Unbridled. I can't do it like you can. Joy's on, our
Oh.
number one fan. Hi, Joy.
Joy, the first time when we get merch, you're gonna be the first with like a sweatshirt. It's gonna happen, I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
I am gonna pull up our live stream on YouTube too. I think it'd be good if we started sharing it on like our other instances. I've got some people that are like Instagram and they don't really know how to get to YouTube, so trying to get it out there. What are you guys up to this week? It's been a minute. Last week I was in Phoenix for work and they held down the fort. So Carly had a special guest on, Annie Seymour, which was a really fun episode. So I was at like a business dinner and I had to go to the bathroom. And I know I like ran in there and I was like checking in on everything. And I was so excited, like listening to her. She's just so passionate about it.
It
It's a
was
lot
so
of
fun.
fun.
It's cool. I got to learn a little bit about Annie's background too, because like I honestly didn't know what got her into games. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Like you're friends with somebody for so many years, but like I never thought to ask, so how'd you get into games? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, like
it's kind of
what
cute.
inspired you?
Yeah.
That's like been the fun thing about all these interviews. And it is kind of cool. We almost like should consider doing some of the interviews live because then it is cool to see like what people's questions are about those people and their background. But
Yeah.
are
Those are
you
definitely
drinking
fun.
anything tonight?
I had a little shot of tequila.
Hey, you do what you gotta do. I have
Yeah.
this is like a Moscow Mule, so I do some ginger
Ooh.
ale and a little bit of vodka and lime juice. But I haven't
Yummy.
really drank in like 4 days, 5 days. It's not very long, I guess. But taking a break from business travel, so this will be a first. It's pretty late, but
Yeah, I'm still recovering from my sinus infection on Monday. I slept like a solid 24 hours.
oh my god.
Yeah, and like I was like, if I can just sleep the entire day, then I know that I'll feel better the next day. And yesterday, Tuesday, I felt a lot better. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that was the answer. But then I didn't get to sleep very much last night, so I'm not feeling as good as I know I could feel today. But it's all right.
Okay, so
Joy.
what kept you up last night?
Oh my gosh, Tommy's listening right now. So
Good. But no, he got hurt. That's what I mean.
he sprained his ankle like really
Uh,
bad at like
I'm
10
telling you
p.m. at
guys,
night. And I'm like, he thought he broke his ankle. Like, he was in
it's
that
scary though.
much pain.
Yeah.
He was like, "It's broken. I know it. We're gonna have to go to the ER." And it was 10 o'clock at night, and I was like, "Well, this is gonna have to wait till the morning because I need to go to bed.
I didn't sleep.
I
I
can't
gotta
drive
earn
into
a
the ER."
living.
Yes, I was like, "I don't have any more time to take for sick leave. I used it all."
Oh my
So
gosh.
anyway, he tossed and turned all night and egged me, but I think we got it figured out today.
Gosh, I'm telling you, with Brendan, so my husband, for people who don't know, I think most people know, but people who don't know, my husband, like, we get married, and 2.5 weeks later, we're in jujitsu class, and he missteps, and just like you think it's a basic thing, but he ended up breaking his ankle really severely, like a compound fracture, and had to have surgery. Has a second surgery, and it ends up going the route of like complex regional pain syndrome, which is a neurological feedback like loop that cause it's the highest on the pain index um, for like medical research. So it's extremely painful for people who have it. You can get it anywhere in your body after an acute injury. Usually it's in your limbs, but the worst case is when you get it in your face, which is crazy like to think
Mm.
about. But anyway, just like going from a normal state to having someone get injured and like from being able-bodied to like compensating, you don't realize how much they do until they can't do it all. Like
Right, right.
it's just shocking, like not being able to drive or getting up and down stairs or getting to get food or even just being able to sleep effectively. Like that whole adjustment period was huge for me. I know like patience. So.
I know. I messaged you this morning and so I understand what you've been going through the last like 4 months of your life. And I'm not even
We
24 hours in and I'm like, I'm done.
Thomas has commented here. Good to know if I was dying, you would just throw a blanket over my head and wait till the morning.
I mean, I
It
need my sleep.
really, I'm just gonna say, like, honestly, no, when I say hi, oh, okay. I guess that's it. All right, so when you're in this platform, you can say show or you can say hide. When I hit hide, it looked like it was hiding it from the universe. I didn't want to be that person. So, um, but yeah, definitely with Brendan, I was like, I need sleep or I can't handle this. So there's compromise. Like,
Well, leave me alone for like 8 hours,
right?
please.
It's the same. Like, definitely sleep is a priority. But I mean, he's handled it so well with everything that's happened. But injuries, man, it's crazy. So I was thinking about injuries in general in the past like 2 weeks because my horse Acheron ended up getting like a cancerous tumor that had to be removed. We had Spring Gilligan had a cancerous tumor that had to be removed, and then ultimately he ended up being put down over it. And then Toby, just like what 2 weeks ago now, out in the field, absolutely nothing like wrong. And 2 hours later, he comes in like toe pointing, three-legged lame, and ends up having a pulled superficial digital flexor tendon. Is that what it is?
I was wondering what the
Joy's going
diagnosis
to be able
was.
to, yeah, tell me what it is because she knows these things. It's a deep digital flexor tendon.
Because you got the vet to come out and actually diagnose him,
Yeah.
and did he get like an MRI type deal or
Yes. So we actually got like a full. It's not an MRI. It's a.
like
I wanted to
sonogram
call
or
it.
something?
It's a sonogram, isn't it? Isn't a sonogram the one where you use the gel and I should know
Yeah,
these things.
I think so.
I
Yeah,
think
'cause
that's a sonogram.
yeah.
Sonogram horse. Hang on, I'm gonna Google. Yep, that's a sonogram for sure. So yeah,
Okay.
we got a sonogram of his leg, which was really interesting and
Ultrasound.
insightful.
Joy's got us covered. Thanks,
Thanks,
Joy.
Joy. I mean, what's the difference, Joy? I don't think there's any difference. Let people cue in and tell me that there is.
That's a good question. I always
But
thought it was the same.
by the way, just because I'm on the internet, I'm not actually. I'm being facetious, sarcastic. They are different. So before someone's like trying to spewing out.
Different names,
Labs,
she says.
ultrasound, and sonogram
Do you
different.
have the images?
So I have some pictures. I actually took video of nearly the entire visit.
Oh, cool.
Um, let me see if I can get some of it to send because I wanted to be able to one learn from it, but two like kind of pass some of that information on. Let me see if I have the one where I zoomed in on my video where we were reading it because it was very interesting. Here, I'm gonna maybe I can pull it up in our chat. But it's crazy. I mean, essentially, he was just out in the field, and just like a person, like you step off a curb and roll your ankle. I mean, he just slid out and basically hyper extended one of the tendons. So they didn't find a distinct like tear, but they did find that there was swelling where there shouldn't be, and there was differences in like the fibers where there shouldn't be, which is indicative of really like a strain.
Okay.
So it was really interesting. So we've actually done two of these ultrasounds now, since they're ultrasounds, not sonograms. But so we did the first one, and gosh, they're not cheap. But on the 2 week follow up, the person who's leasing him kindly and honestly, like this is absolutely 100% not their fault. It is just a horse being a horse.
Right.
So they have pristine care and they have gorgeous facilities. So I just have to shout that out. But she was there and she's like, I wish we could follow up. And the vet was so kind saying, well, I have a training vet here with me. We'll do it for free so that she can learn.
Nice.
And so we ended up getting a 2 week follow up. So now we have the first and the second, which is awesome. And we have the images for both. I just need to get a copy of them. But it was neat to see. She was like, 2 weeks after having essentially like a strained tendon, you're not going to expect to see healing or rejuvenation. Really what you're looking for is to reduce swelling and make it so that they're more functionally sound and comfortable.
Okay.
Just being able to walk. And for him, he's going on, it's like 4 weeks of kind of rehab, being on a dry lot and then getting hand walked 5-minute intervals until he's comfortable. And then you bump it up another 5 minutes. And essentially, they anticipate he's not going to be able to come back to mounted games. So the goal really is that we get him super comfortable, and then he has like a job with, even if he's doing games with someone who's really young, and it can be a lot more relaxed than it is. He just,
Right.
with his age, he just got to a point where things got a little crunchy, and it's not holding up
Oh.
quite as well. So it's a learning experience though, for sure.
Yeah, Joy wants to know if it's different from the old bow.
It is. So it ended up being his old bow was on the right side. It is on the left side. So totally.
Ah,
And that's where the vet's like, look, you had one injury. You have an unrelated second injury. Is it really worth you trying to bring them all the way back just to potentially have another issue?
right.
Um, so it just got me thinking about injuries in horses, right? With mounted games and the best methods of preventing injury. Horses being horses, things are going to go wrong all the time. But I started thinking like injuries in people, injuries in horses. So I was curious for the chat, like, what do you guys suggest for getting your horse to a point where you can maybe lessen the occurrence of some of the injuries that we see in mounted games? So if you guys are in the chat, drop some comments. I know Joy probably has some ideas because she's been around for a while with the sport, and has dealt with some of this stuff. But
I'd love to hear what Joy has to say. I feel like
yeah,
I'm the last person to ask when it comes to like that kind of question. I just feel like I know so little and I kind of just copy what other people do because it makes me feel like I'm taking care of my horse at the end of the day.
that's how we learn, though, honestly. I think in this community, it's definitely by like soliciting feedback and copying people like
Mhm.
all day long.
Mhm.
But okay, so I think it just sent. Let me see if I can pull it up. Maybe share some video. You're not going to be able to hear the audio, unfortunately, because I think it'll just feed back. But it's still kind of cool to see for people who haven't seen ultrasound on horses. Let me see if it's sent. No, it hasn't come through yet. Okay. I'll keep an eye on it when it does.
Well, Joy answered us already. She said, "We're using ice after each session, and I wasn't able to do that at Gobbler Games, and Chloe was sore on Sunday."
Yeah, it's before mounted games, and even in eventing circles, I feel like a lot of people do poultice, stable wraps, ice boots. And in mounted games, honestly, I don't feel like I was ever diligent about that. And I've been so lucky because my horse Hero is super hardy, like
Mhm.
knock on wood. Um,
He
but
literally got kicked by Remington like in the hock like
like like three
recently.
times he's like pew pew pew, and Hero's like that was not
He
cool.
was like, "Ouch."
Like,
It's been fine. I'm like,
I was so lucky with that.
yeah.
But it definitely got me thinking like preventative care and like icing him or poulticing him at night, especially since he's not in all the time after being worked hard and then kept in versus being worked hard and being turned out overnight. Um, yeah, definitely like stable wraps, poultice, ice, a little bit more walking and making sure we get our ponies out early in the morning.
Right.
Um,
More
so
warm
I'm
up.
just exactly and more long warm up, particularly focusing on tendon injuries and mitigation. Like one of the big things that we're hearing from the vet is long walk warm ups or a lot more walk, especially
Mhm.
when you're bringing a horse back into work. We kind of like to gear up, and I know I'm super guilty of this, hop on and start trotting, especially because my horse is geared up. But definitely, I see Joy's comment there. More walk would be really good for me to incorporate. Joy, I find poultice difficult at the comp because of the lack of time to hose it off in the morning. It's hard, right? We all just need to wake up earlier. We got to
Mhm.
get, honestly, we're all kind of weenies in my opinion because in eventing, like, you have to be up at like 3 in the morning to get anywhere half the time and
This
show
is
up in
why I
your,
don't event.
I'm telling you, your ride time can be at like 7 in the morning and then you've got to have your horse braided and clean and it's crazy.
Oh yeah,
Um,
cleanliness. I forgot about that.
yeah,
Amount of games,
that's
it
a
doesn't
thing.
matter. I just brush where he's white and then I'm good.
Show up and hope for the best. Like,
I also didn't have enough time to warm her up. I usually do 15 minutes of walking and I couldn't.
yeah, I was thinking about that after organizing the competition too, and I haven't really had a debrief since we organized, but that is something I think to consider more of is how, and it's so hard as an organizer in general, but how to better allocate time so that people with their ponies have more time to hop off and get a session to go warm their ponies up. Because we just rely on other people to do it, and we are like, oh, the teammates are going to do it for them, but honestly, like, you're putting the horse care in somebody else's hands. Like, that's almost not fair, especially if something were to go wrong. So it's a lot to think about. Val. Sprite, I had to poultice and wrap, and I used to warm up at a walk for an hour before the session. Shout out
Wow.
to Val, honestly, because I see
Wow.
you out there doing more walk warm up than I think I see a lot of people. And you get your kids on early too, which is just fabulous. And I'm, like I said, I'm super guilty of just getting on and being like, ha, he doesn't need a lot of warm up. But for injury prevention, probably important. Um, Joy, we love the gobbler games, but if I wasn't in the ring, or I was in the ring anytime I wasn't riding. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, me too, but I guess it's kind of expected with my position. But to be honest, like Joy and Annie and Priscilla and
You
Carly and my
stepped it
mom,
up.
everybody was just honestly stepping it up. Like we saw Kelsey out there all the time. We had Brett and Bree, and just so many people were in the ring whenever they weren't riding. And it was wonderful to have that kind of support, guys. The entire competition was on time. Like
Like
on
ahead
time.
of
And
time.
I like ahead of
Schedule.
time on time. And I when I scheduled it, I thought it was aggressive. I was like, oh, I don't know if we're gonna keep it up, but it just everyone stepped up and it was just so wonderful to have like the whole community kind of like pitch in and make it happen. So
It
that
flowed
was so
so
much fun.
smoothly. Yeah.
It really did. No, it was great. And it was so cool coming back to a complex and having the facility like workers be like, "Oh, I remember you guys like 6 years ago, and you were so cool. You should come back. You're cooler than watching dogs."
Yeah,
I
I
was like,
remember
"That's a
you said that.
compliment."
That's so nice.
I think dogs are pretty cool. So, but yeah, I mean, just shout out to the Appaloosa breed because they've been super hardy on me. I feel like Joy might jump in here with her experiences, but in my experience, it's been pretty great. My horse has been really, really hardy. Um, Thinking, and this is people are like, Jen, your ADHD is strong. I know it's been a long day. Okay, I've been very focused for like 12 hours. So,
Joy has more to say. She said, but if we could schedule like an extra 15 minutes between sessions, that would be helpful. I agree with that. Yeah.
yep,
Val says the kids, we have worked on proper warm up and more importantly, proper cool down. With games, we're always running back into the ring to volunteer, so it's easy to forget to cool down the right way. That's super duper important. And I feel like I haven't really thought about that as much until just like this year recently, because it feels like as soon as we're finished, and most of the time, the last couple races, like we're pushing, man. And
yep.
then as soon as we're finished, we just throw the horses like in their stall and we don't even get to really cool down at all, which is not good practice. We definitely have to improve that.
That's what I mean. It's so hard as an organizer to figure out how to. There's got to be a way to systematize it. I keep thinking like from my work business brain, I'm like, how can we make it so you kind of plug in like values and then boom, it just spits out a perfect schedule for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's hard and you sit there and you're just fussing with it. But so shout out to all the organizers who put a ton of time into moving all the moving components because this whole year of kind of learning the ins and outs and there's still so much to learn. But it's a job. It's a lot to get it going in the right direction.
So, how do you feel about next year as an organizer?
As an organizer.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to run the home turf sun and fun stuff starting earlier in the year. I'd like to do that
Yeah.
starting like late April,
Yeah.
and do that consistently all the way until probably September. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited because I've got green ponies at home, and I just felt like it was a really good platform. And having a consistent cadence where people could kind of come and go to the weekends that work for them, I think that's going to be awesome. So, and I've had just so much support from local kind of like families that have a lot of equipment. So shout out to Val and Matt. They've been so awesome. And then of course, like Stacy and the team, everybody's been really sweet about, hey, if you don't have enough equipment for certain things, like we're here to help. So that's been great because I've been putting a lot of my own money out to try to build up kind of a repository of games equipment right in our area, just to make it so that we're not leaning on anybody else. Shout out to Zoe.
Hi, Zoe.
So Zoe, all right. So let's derail for a second, then I'll go back to being an organizer because we're Genevieve and we're just gonna roll with it. But there was this really cool Appaloosa pony that I saw on Facebook, and I was like, Mom, like his face kind of like has the structure of heroes. I think he's so cool. And I sent her all these screenshots, and I was like, we should just like get him. He's a stallion. He's a baby stallion, so he's like 4 or something, and he was just so cool looking, like just so freaking cool. He was just really neat. Not even a blanket. It was like if you had a Appaloosa complex, but with like larger patches. And he wasn't a Pinto cross. He was just like kind of roaming out that way.
He's still pretty young too, wasn't he? Like
I think he's like 4.
Yeah.
Something young. Yeah. So anyway, like I was like, he'd be so cool, but he's only 13 hands. Like, why am I so tall? And I just need more ponies for no reason. And let it die. And then Zoe randomly like comments me, and she's like, Jen, I got myself a birthday present. And sends me a picture of him. So Zoe got him. Yeah.
What?
So news drop, Zoe actually bought him and has gelded him now. And he's at her farm and delivered. And she's got him to raise up. So, right? How cool is that?
Like, and you were obsessed with him.
I know. So Zoe, you've got a fan for life. And
now if he outgrows Zoe, and if he like keeps growing into like a 13, 3, 14 hand pony, and Zoe's like, he's too big for me, you're gonna be like,
dibs, Zoe, dibs.
Zoe, I can't believe you're not sharing on Facebook and stuff. Like, you're supposed to say this stuff. You're supposed to let share with the crowd so we can live vicariously through you.
He was so cute. All right, Zoe, put in the comments if I can share his little gelding pictures, because I think it's adorable. People who haven't seen it. You good? Can I share? Because he's so cute.
Because my family. Oh. Yes, absolutely. Share away.
I am going to go ahead and share my screen because he's so cute, guys. But this first picture that y'all are gonna see, this is what a pony looks like when they're being gelded. So maybe not like where I should start, but
uncensored.
Why not? This is our little buddy.
Oh no! Oh no! Look at the poor little guy.
Oh, he's definitely he's a good little man. So
right between the hay bales.
I know, right? Here was him getting delivered, and he's so petite, Zoe. So I'm so glad that you got him, because I would have bought him and then been disappointed that he was so tiny.
Oh my gosh, he's so small, but he's so cute.
How cute is he? Right? All right, and this is literally, I screenshot this ad and I sent it to my mom, and I was like, please, like, let me buy 8 more ponies. And look at him. He's so cool, guys.
He's so cool.
He has such a neat color. So I'm so excited to see him out there. And just his eye and his face like reminded me of kind of Hero. I don't know why, but the structure, he looks like if I knew Hero's breeding.
He looks like a dude.
He's like total dude. So
yeah.
I'm excited. So your other pony is named Fig or Figment. What's this pony's name?
So he said he's tiny. Yeah, what is this pony's name, Zoe?
I was just going to let you announce it so we can pin it up here. He is so cute, guys. So I'm so excited, Zoe, and total fan here. I can't wait to watch his journey. That's going to be so cool.
Fathom.
Right? Fathom? How cool is that name? That's the coolest
such a unique name.
I love it. You need to name my next pony.
So cute.
Oh, look, I come up with Fizz.
I think Fizz is kind of cute.
It's cute. His name was Cola. And we had a coal in the barn, and I was like,
that's true.
Yeah. I'm so excited. So, all right. Anyway, that was my derail to Zoe and her adorable little spotty competitions. I have reached back out to the complex at Jersey, and they're so booked up. They're like so booked up. So everything that was open on their calendar, they're like, oh, those weekends are just unlisted. I was like, okay, so what can you give me as far as weekends? And they came back with like December 20th, I want to say.
Okay. And literally a year from now, 2024.
Yeah. And then I was like, what about March 2025? Totally booked up. And they're like, well, we can give you the outdoor. I'm like, all right, so I'm starting to think, okay, maybe we could run a summer outdoor competition because that arena to the right of the barns, same size as the indoor arena. So it's like 300 by something.
Okay. Okay.
So it's a possibility. But then, if I'm going to run, it just depends on how it would work out, how much interest we would get from the team.
Yeah, that complex is so convenient though, because you don't have to worry about weather. And like that's just the really nice thing. And
That's
I
the
feel
thing.
like March is kind of iffy still.
So I was thinking we could do outdoor, but we could do outdoor maybe like late, I want to say like May or something, like
Hmm.
around that time frame. If we
Linda
did.
over here playing devil's advocate, saying we're
Hey,
gonna
she
get
hopped
eaten
on.
alive by bugs. Hi, Linda.
Yeah, so she's not wrong. There is literally like marshland right beside the complex there, and it
Mhm.
gets so bad with mosquitoes. So we'd want to get out there before you kind of got hit up with that.
Yeah.
Um, it's just, I'm starting to play the long game. I'm like, well, could we weasel our way into like 2026?
Yeah.
That's a huge commitment though, guys. Think about that. I'm like, what am I doing in my life in 4 years on this weekend?
I know. Oh,
Let's put
wow.
out $500 and hope for the best. Like, so I'm gonna keep pushing for a weekend. She did come back. That's why I brought up my phone. Straight ADHD. Um, and she told me, so there was one weekend. I may have the weekends of November 8th and 9th or November 22nd and 23rd for 2025.
Oh. Oh, wow.
So
That's
that's
far.
a solid 2 years out.
It's like, are you
And
still gonna be
then
organizing? What is
I
gonna
know that's
happen
what I
in your
mean. Like
life?
this whole thing. So she had one weekend available next year, and it was, I think it was the same weekend. They have October 26th and 27th, and November 21st and 22nd for 2024. It's 21st, 22nd. We would straight up be doing a Christmas competition. I don't know how much interest we would get. It's crazy though, because we had so much interest at Thanksgiving when I would
Right.
think people wouldn't show up.
And it
So,
was last minute too. That
like,
was like a
total last
double
minute.
whammy that normally people like wouldn't be up
Exactly.
for.
But Christmas is like a totally different animal, I feel like.
Yeah.
Particularly people who struggle with weekends. I think they're really going to get the Christmas weekend, not like the games weekend. But
Yeah.
the other one was October 26th, 27th. And I don't know if that's Annie's wedding weekend.
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, Joy just asked a good clarifying question. Are you talking about November 21st and 22nd or December 21st, 22nd?
December.
Oh, December.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Especially like
November. So I can
weather.
get the November lockdown probably for 2025. So we could play the long game. Do 2025 November date
Mhm.
and then do another like Thanksgiving gobbler games. And if we did that, I could probably lock down the 2026 year. So we could start getting in annually at that point.
Yeah.
And just do like a Thanksgiving thing each time.
Hmm.
Could do. The other option is the November 8th and 9th weekend, which is earlier in the month than Thanksgiving. But that might also mean that people aren't home from break to go out, which they might
Oh,
during Thanksgiving. Get what I'm saying?
yeah.
So it's a lot to think about as an organizer, like trying to, I don't know, it's crazy. So much, like I said, that people are doing behind the scenes to make these things happen. But I really, really do want to get like find a venue that we can do a cool pairs competition. Um,
What's Joy
so
say?
follow. Joy said for her wedding, Annie was talking about October 19th, but then I think one of her brother-in-laws has tickets to a concert that weekend. So she was looking at the following weekend, which would then be the October that at
Like last weekend of October-ish.
26th, 27th, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So a lot to think about. So guys, if anybody has leads on a venue that is a minimum of 300 feet long, preferably indoor, it'd be great if we could find climate controlled indoor. I'd even go up towards New York. Mom, you're not listening right now. Up towards New York. If we could get something, maybe solid that people could participate in coming down from the Northeast. It's just nice having, seeing everybody at the end of the season. So
Yeah, I
like I
like the
said.
month of November, like end of October, early November. Just gives you a little bit of time after, MA6 to kind of like recover from that financially, whatever. And then,
Yeah,
but with December, the problem with December is like the weather can be like so,
dodgy.
yeah, dodgy. Like you don't know what to expect. Like I'm pretty sure some people got snow like today, like even
Hmm.
in West Virginia. I thought I saw Stacy posted that she got snow like this morning.
Yep.
And like that's like right up the road from us, so I don't know. You never and I don't know. Makes it tough for
Yeah, it's
travel.
I totally agree. So I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think if I should try to lock down the 2025 Gobbler Games. Hey, it gives me a whole year and a half, 2 years, 2 years to get ribbons made this time. That's like one ribbon a month all the way out. So
I thought we decided you're never doing that many ribbons ever again.
that's, I don't know. I'm an overachiever.
Hmm.
They started really small. I was like, I'm going to make this so manageable. But then I was like, now they all have to match. There was some mega ribbons. Margot just said, would love to see if you could reach out to Try On and get any traction. It's a good middle ground with a different crowd, but you get a lot of the South. They've not been receptive to us. I totally understand that. It's a lot. Dealing with politics in any organization, even any business, honestly.
Yeah.
So it'd be a long drive though. Try On, I feel like not just Joy, like Joy, it's a long one for us too. I don't know if someone wants to pop it in and tell me what it is from Northern Virginia, but
I can tell you what it is from
I'm
here.
curious, yeah, because I haven't been for that reason, and yeah, I think Joy, I agree. The weather starts to become a concern when you have those really long drives. I'm not gonna lie though, Margot, I keep looking at some of the South series and some of the stuff in Florida, and I'm like, if I could get my pony there, if I
Wait,
could
that's
just
North
get my
Carolina,
truck.
right?
Try On,
Try
yeah.
on North Carolina. It's only 7 hours and 11 minutes from Hagerstown.
So not the worst. It's terrible for people coming from New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kim said it'd be about 6 to 8 hours. Yeah, I totally agree, Kim.
Yeah, one.
Yeah, it's a minute.
Adrian's trailer to a few. I don't doubt it. She's like,
Yeah, that's the thing. It is such an incredible venue. It's like you're right. We could bring some of the South and get them involved. That could be kind of fun too, though. Maybe we play the long game again and we just make like a big plan and do it like once every 3 years or something.
yeah, yeah. By then, maybe our truck situation would have changed and
Exactly,
we
right?
can
It'd be so
trust
much
that long
better.
commute. I don't know.
That's our problem, Margot. I think we're poor up here. We put all of our money into silly things, and then our truck is just like double
Truck's
chin
like,
and all.
we'll see if we can make it
It's like,
every
uh,
time. Oh, Zoe said she'd be in.
see, that's what I'm saying, Zoe. We just have to get someone's got to get a 10-horse trailer, and then they can all trailer us down. Oh, would be great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a picture of our stream here. So smile, and I'm gonna post it with a link so I can try to get people directed there. I'm trying to learn how to navigate all this stuff.
Cash and Tyler's Adventures with Guest Stars says hi. Oh, Marco says we'd have 70 plus from Southern and Midwest crew. Just need someone to get them back to being responsive. So he
Yeah,
says just hire a shipper for a big group. So we've thought about that, Zoe. We've considered that. But like, is that financially feasible?
exactly. Because I've been talking about maybe doing that for going up to Canada because I've been socializing with the Canadians, us trying to reciprocate some of the love that they've shown us and like getting a group up there for one of their big competitions in the summer. And it's just like, how do we, maybe a shipper is the right way. And then we all just hop on a plane and come back. But it's
Joy says
expensive.
super expensive.
It is expensive. So there is that.
But if we planned 2 years in advance and just put $5 away every week, we could cover maybe a third of it.
Or get 3 saddles, it's the same.
Cash and Tyler's Adventures with Guest Stars says, I know Margot Miller from y'all's most recent episode. Woohoo! Thanks for watching.
And thank you so much for the subscribe. So he also, oh Lord, he
Mhm.
also said you subscribe. And this is a great opportunity for us to shout out the fact that we need you to like and subscribe and share the YouTube channel. Our goal is to get to 100 subscribers so we can launch the podcasting platform. It's super important, guys, that we try to get to 100 people and we move on to our podcasting platform so people who are driving, people who can't sit down in front of a computer, are able to listen in. That's what we're moving towards. And again, the whole reason that we are doing that.
Cash is Courtney's son. Hi, Courtney's son.
Hi. I love your pony. I stalk all the pictures. I'm like, it's so cute. But yeah, so we can drive the traffic because, again, and this is stuff that I'm learning, so I just share with you all because you care. YouTube is the second largest search engine, and YouTube has an algorithm, and so it will pick up content that it thinks people are liking or subscribing to or seeing regularly, and then it will drive it organically to viewers who are searching for horse stuff. So it helps us drive traffic there. We have wait. All right, Margot, Joy Seymour, totally get that. As a native upstate New Yorker, everything is so far. That's why I'm saying, like, it would be nice to, we just need somebody. Y'all, okay, guys, you need to start a business as a shipping company representing Mounted Games. Like, just go out and get a business loan and get a 20-horse trailer and a really nice truck, and then give us discounts to move our ponies, and we'll promote you here to our 100 people.
Dude, okay, so you know how the person who purchased my where I board at my barn, he has connections literally everywhere. Like, he's talking to me the other day. He's like, do you want to be a shipper? Because I've got like a ton of people that need horses shipped. Like, if you can get a truck and a trailer, he's like, I can get you money. He's like, I can make you so much money if you want to be a shipper. I was like, Eric, okay, like, I don't really want that life. But
exactly right.
Interesting that you know so many people here on the East Coast that want their horses shipped that you could just promise hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right? I mean, yeah. It's the business loan, guys. That's painful.
Yeah, exactly. Oh.
But I've thought about it. I was like, in another life, it'd be kind of cool. I can listen to audiobooks and just sort of like, go 12, 15 hours at a time. Get to see lots of ponies in different places. Collect all the ponies I'll never have time to ride, but that's normal anyway. Like,
right. We only work half of the year.
Exactly.
If you can make that much money.
That's a good point too. I'm gonna have to socialize this.
Yeah. Good idea. Joy, you need a CDL. I think all of us as equestrian enthusiasts could get a CDL.
I feel like we qualify.
Yeah.
If you can back a trailer, you're probably pretty solid. But it's people don't want to mess with you when you have a big rig. So let's go there too. Backyard game size arenas. Yeah, no, we need to have full venues in our backyard. Like, you just walk through a portal and then Tryon opens up for all of us. Actually, hey, let's get back to, we need teleportation. That's really the crux of the issue here. We could all end up in Tryon if we just got portals moving. Like,
or if we do what Alan from our clinic last weekend suggested. He said we need our own state-based mounted games, like, not an organization, but what did he basically call it? Like, it's its own little like hub of state-based
so he was saying,
mounted games.
He was like, I had brought up, hey, in the United States, we're so spread out. It makes it so difficult because we're so spread out for all of us to aggregate and compete, right? Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, I would approach it the way it is in Europe, right? All the countries kind of represent the size of a state, if you think about it. And each country has its own, formal kind of entity where it collects, like, gets a bunch of riders engaged, and it really drives this socializing the sport, but also the competitions, and then bringing up the best riders and then taking those best riders and kind of presenting them on this stage where you then bring people together. So every state, from his perspective, should have its own kind of club,
right?
Like Margot was saying. And then each club takes the best riders and pushes them forward into like regional competition. So we see this in Pony Club, and Pony Club is kind of structured this way. So is USCA eventing, where they have regions. And with each region, they then pull like the best cream of the crop, and then you can move them into like a more high level platform. Mm-hmm. It's hard though, as Joy said, like it's hard unless you have like a farm that really has a lot of indigenous support, or you have like a pony club that has a lot of support to really drive it.
Yeah.
So, but it would be so great if we like got enough riders in Virginia to be able to host competitions and then take the best and kind of move them forward.
Yeah.
It's just hard. Or even regions. You could look at USEA, like area 2, I think is like 3 or 4 states, and then do regions like that and have like the north and then have like our area and so on in the south and then take like the best from there.
Hmm.
Um yeah, it's just interesting if you were to look at the long game, like where do we want to be in 50 years with mounted games? That opens this whole can of worms politically, I know, but it's kind of interesting to think about.
It does. It does.
It's
I don't feel like the organization thinks that way, though. I don't think they
no.
think in 50 years, what do we want to look like? They're just thinking about here and now. And with
Yeah.
everything being like so volunteer based, it's hard to make it grow.
It's when you're in like high level business, they try to create like initiatives and like a vision, and they'll give you a 5 year roadmap or a 10 year roadmap. And they might alter that a little bit, but you have a trajectory. And everybody who moves into leadership or moves off leadership is supposed to get on board with the trajectory. So that's where I think the club maybe could benefit from creating like a clear vision of
Mhm.
what they want in the future versus just kind of satisfying the here and now, like you're saying, like just making sure that it keeps working, because then you're not going to have the same initiatives towards growing the sport or putting resources together for people to learn more about the sport so they can then help you grow it.
Agreed.
That's a lot
Agreed.
to think about.
Everybody's going in so many different directions at one time with, their family and then life, and then mounted games is just supposed to be fun, but we also want it to be r- run, I think, kind of like a living, breathing thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you have to have incentives, you have to have members join the group to continue to grow, to thrive, and it's just different how everybody has different opinions. And
Oh
it's
yeah, I
it's
know.
growing every year though. Ever since
It is.
COVID like kind of died, the organization has like definitely grown like really, really fast.
It like for me too. I really think that we need to drive training up more organizers or putting resources together to teach organizers. People are like, oh, the information is out there. Yeah, but it's not easily digestible. So somebody can kind of get started. And a lot of people, it is their side thing. So unless you've been doing it for 30 years, it's a very steep like learning curve. So, I mean, because the more organizers we can get, the more we can drive people to come into the competition at a local grassroots level,
Mhm.
which is really going to help it, I think. Right now, we almost have a bottleneck with our larger organization, like the MAs that we see, and they do such a good job running them. But I mean, at some point, you're going to get capped with how many people you can actually have. You know,
Right, right.
they've
And I
even
don't
been
really
closing
want that to
entries.
happen. Exactly.
Exactly.
Right. Because
Right.
like what was it? I don't know which competition it was, but it was just like limiting 25. And I don't really want to feel that way this coming year being in open division because I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure we're going to have like up to like 9 teams. And if they
Yep.
try to close like the division on us at 8 teams, like that's going to really suck.
And it gets back to like it makes sense for the organizers to be in that position. They only have so much time in the day and they only have so much room to make things
Yeah.
work. So like no fault on the organizers, but how do we as an organization then make some strategy behind how big we can allow this thing to grow, and can
Yeah.
we run 2 arenas? Is there opportunity,
Right.
like just how else do you want to do it? It was so interesting too when we were at Jersey and we were in that indoor with the lights and everything. And I was talking with the crew after hours when we were setting the arena, and she was like, yeah, the raining people will stay in until 2 or 3 in the morning, like just running. And I mean, maybe we should consider like starting a little bit earlier, going a little bit later, and then just being more amenable to people having like a chunk of the day.
Right.
I don't know. It's interesting things to think about with growth of the sport. Yeah, we've got 14 viewers, guys, and we got 5 likes, which is so cool. If you guys can like or subscribe to our YouTube, that would be fabulous. And Tom says to beg for likes as you go, so please like us.
Beg for likes.
Oh, that's ridiculous. All right, so pivoting to Cash's question. What is your
Oh,
favorite game? amount of games.
Mm.
I feel like we talked about this, but I feel like it's always changing. So I guess let's say it this way. At the last competition you competed at, what was your favorite game?
The last competition.
That would be gobbler games. Unless
That's
you've been out and
probably
about. Carton is always fun.
I love carton
I
pair
love it.
style though. Pairs are individual style where you have to get
Yeah.
at least 2 of the cartons.
We have to go back up.
Yeah, we have to go back up, and if I can get Remington to the point where he canters both of his turns as I put it in the bucket, it just feels so smooth. I feel like a rock star.
For me, like definitely, this is so weird. It was pony pairs. Every time it's been pony pairs, I swear. It's like that race that I hated for so many years. And my mom was always like, if you're on a good team that knows how to ride with you.
Because she would say that exactly like that.
You know, people who've been together on the same team or have that kind of well-oiled dynamic, they can get some of these games that really unique, good cohesion on.
Yeah.
And she's always kind of been that because she's had a really stable team. And for me, like, there's certain races where it was like always me fighting the horse, and I didn't really get to go past that into how do I work with my team a little bit better? How do we create more cohesion? What are better orders? Like, it's always been there, but now it's like we've had a bit more stability on our team and like really trying to make some of that gel. Right. So pony pairs for me. And guys, all right, so let's talk pony pairs for a second, because this tip, and I don't know, I think maybe it was Mom who even told it to me. Maybe. Mom, if you're still watching, you can shout out and give it's an opportunity for credit here.
She was watching. Often. She said her favorite race was Bottle at Goblet Games.
Okay, well, pony pairs. So when you're running, you always want, like, as they bend and they approach and they kind of meet up, when you go around the pole, the person who's on the outside or furthest from the pole is going to be the person who's kind of driving and pushing through. And they're supposed to be pushing the other horse over and kind of driving the speed. So you're supposed to, basically, let's say you're going from a trot. So you would be trotting and moving to a canter from the outside pony. And then as that outside pony now is closest to the pole as I pass through, then the new outside pony is going to drive while the other one stays stable. And that new pony is going to be pushing on the outside, going faster, until they're the one that's closest to the pole. And then the pony who is just closest to the pole, who's now on the outside, is going to be driving pony.
I think what you're saying is they surge. There's like a give and take. And when the pole is here, this pony has to push. And then when there's a pole right here, this pony has to push over and say, move out the way. And then they're doing kind of like this.
And while the one is pushing to move them out of the way, the other pony has to go faster.
Yeah.
So one horse is literally physically moving the other pony over. They can pull across here. While the other one is then speeding up. And then that new pony who was just pushing him over is now in the role of speeding up while this pony shoves them over. Right. And yeah, just like Shannon said, it's like give and take. Okay, guys. Anyway, watch video on YouTube of like the best people doing pony pairs because it's so cool when you get it right.
Yeah.
And my horse is a freaking, like, he's a tank. But when he's paired with another tank, like him and Remy are so good together.
It's so because, fun to do pony pairs together.
Fun. Like he
we've been so successful this year because the boys just are like, okay, let's go, and they push each other. As soon as I ask Remy to push Hero over, and Hero's like, oh, okay, and it just goes faster, and it's faster and faster and faster. But they actually weave, and it's so fun.
It's guys, I'm telling you, it is so fun when you get like that dynamic going. So if you've never tried that before, even if you're going slower, think that way and you'll like shock yourself because you'll end up speeding up just as the ponies are competing. So long as they're shoving each other over, the competition is fine. Like so cool. Anyway, all right, so back to the question, right? What was the favorite race? I know, that's why I was going to go back through those comments here. Favorite race at Gobbler Games or your most recent competition? And we had so many answers. Zoe said, carton and bending. Yeah. Girl, bending? I'm shocked. I don't like bending. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was probably going to say I suck at it.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, it's probably because your pony doesn't like it.
Yeah. Like, not a fan with that. But, okay, wait, keep going through them.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be the clicker because when I'm a
Alright.
clicker, it causes problems. And I see Greg put a comment in there too. We'll come back to your comment in a minute
Alright.
too.
Alright, let me click it.
Zoe,
Alright.
carton bending,
How do I mess this up?
Joy. Linda says bottle. It's always weird calling you Linda. I'm sorry if that's like disrespectful and stiff, but
Shannon says, and mug shuffle. Joy likes bottle
yes.
too. Oh, Isabel says stock and association. Association's a fun one. Yes.
Yeah, when you get
It's a
it
good
right.
one. Yeah, it's a good one, especially
So,
pair style.
Joy, I struggle with having a stable team.
I think she's talking about pony pairs.
It's definitely like a lot to push through. So she says bottle. Look at this.
What?
There was 3 different bottle races out there. So what was your favorite bottle race? Because they are
Be
all very
specific,
different.
Linda.
Come on. Joy likes bottle. Which bottle, Joy? I need to know these things. Like, as an organizer, I need to know so I can punish you guys next time.
She said all of them. That's a cop-out answer.
No, but honestly, she is so good at everything. Like bottle race.
Mhm.
I don't get it. It's her and DJ. Like she's got this timing and it just looks effortless. I know it's a lot of work, but
I don't know how they do it.
it's a lot. So Zoe, I like bottle swap. Bottle swap is the one where there's one barrel in the center of the arena and there is a pole at past sea line.
I like
right?
that one too.
Yeah. And so it's pretty, I feel like you really get to focus on your skill set and kind of move out and then really focus on your skill set. So I don't like that one because you have to go. My horse perceives it as a speed race, even though it clearly is not meant to be that way. He's like, there's only one thing to do, Mom.
Run.
Run. Oh my gosh.
All right, let's go back to Greg's comment up top. Oh, here we go. Adequate venues and limited equipment may be the limiting factor.
For sure. So when it comes to being able to run larger competitions than we already are with 8 lanes, guys, that is a lot. But you're right, it's so hard to find, and we talk about adequate venues, but it's so hard to find a venue that has the size and space to be able to run 8 lanes because a lot of places in Europe, their competitions are held on turf. So they kind of have that sub layer that's really, really grippy and it's, pretty good for the horses, or they are used to riding on turf and so they shoe for it, shoes, studs, etc. Which people who use studs, like, how are you not afraid of them stepping on your foot? Because my horse intentionally stomps on my foot and no way I would ever put any sort of stud on him. I'd have a hole in my foot. It would be not so great. But
no,
I totally agree with you, Greg. I really think, another thing that I realized is and it may be out there is knowledge like of a repository where people have examined different venues and given their size, their capacity, their rates, if they exist, like what could be held there and how receptive they are to booking. Like if this effort has been done, because there's so many people who would chime in and say that they've done it, they've looked for new places, they, have gone through every single facility they can find. Like, why are we not creating a central repository to make it easier for new organizers to find a venue and not double up on someone else's effort? So definitely an option in another life when I have more time. Joy uses studs. Oh, you are
what?
A lot of people do, and it makes sense too when you're, riding on turf. And MA4 I think was on grass, right? So
that's true. Yeah.
But it scares me. Like, I get stomped on way too many times. And steel toe like boots or something. They don't make steel toed riding Ariots. They have not met my horse.
Can you imagine how heavy that would be? No, thank you.
Yeah.
Vaulting in steel-toed boots.
I really need to get them, and then I can be like, yo, I can't get my feet off the ground because of my boots.
You need to practice your vaults over the winter with steel-toed boots.
With weighted boots.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And then by springtime,
I'll be like friggin' moon shoes over here. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Linda, if you have shoes on your horses, you really should have studs in grass. That's true. Mostly, I would say. It depends on the turf, but yes. Linda. Yeah, that's the point. You didn't get the dry humor, did you? Did you?
Savage.
Just like a hex. Kim, is it mean to say I could see Hero doing that, stepping on your feet with rear studs, and then would turn his head? Girl, he would step on my feet with all the studs. He would just stomp on every four. Like, I'm so tall that it is a problem when your pony is like borderline, because he's like solid 14 hands. He's a brick house, super, super thick boy. But I am so tall, guys, that my horse, I went to vault him and he took off ahead of me in like stepping stones at one of the earlier competitions this year. And he stepped on me while I'm still totally keen to vault with his hind feet on my foot.
Like, how does that happen?
He just like came
How's
under
your leg
himself,
that
and
long?
my leg is like stretchy, and he's just like stamp. You can see my face. I'm like, ah.
And you're stuck there.
Trauma. Like, that was so bad because my foot was total black and blue. Like, he really crushed it. And I'm like, how? I thought I was outside of the stomp zone, but he had other plans. I swear. He's got those like eyes where he like see like the white on the side, and you're like, oh, he's so cute and mischievous. And then like every once in a while it just shines, and then he's like stamp like for no reason. He's totally watching. Oh my gosh, Hero. I'm excited though for winter season. I've kind of given him a little bit of time off after Gobbler Games. We've got popsicle pairs, so shout out to, I think Matt is actually organizing that this coming weekend. So that's going to be Sunday. That'll be interesting because I have not ridden my horse in 2 weeks.
Are you riding with your mom?
I am. So Mama and I shall be riding, and she can be spicy, so I'm looking forward to it. And then we have a little Snowflake is joining our herd. So I had him at Gobbler Games, and he was fabulous. And we're looking long game, a couple of years out, to make him Mom's new pony. So kind of the backup for DJ. So in the meantime, just getting him really solid exposure. He doesn't need to vault. Vaulting has been his issue in the past, but goal is just lots of stirrups for a couple of years. I think he's going to be fabulous. I'm so excited about that. Linda, we might want to get on this Friday or Saturday. Yeah, remind my horse what it's like to be tame.
Practice.
Like, a little practice might be good. Definitely the getting on has been a bit difficult because Hero has realized that unless I work with him 6 days a week, he has no obligation to support my endeavors.
It's like he doesn't remember, though. He's like, we haven't done this in so long. I forgot everything.
He's like, I swear, he's like, that 2-year-old that just throws tampers like all the time. It's just a tantrum. You took my toy. Like,
yeah. It's a really good idea. It's supposed to rain on Sunday. It could be loud on the roof.
Thank God my horse is not spooky. That is just such a blessing. He does not care.
Yuck.
He might use it as an excuse though to try to level me, but
well, that's awesome. You guys better take video. I think this is gonna be the first competition I miss.
Like, I know. I can still partner you up if you wanna.
Trust me, I'm good. I don't need to make that drive.
Totally get it.
3-hour drive through so many tolls. It was rough.
Linda, he is smooth brain when it's convenient for him. Shout out to Katie Campbell's interview. I was wondering, I'm like, is it Kate or Katie? Katie? Is it Katie or Kate?
So I specifically asked her that, and she basically goes by everything. Katie, Kate, Caitlin.
All right, perfect. So
yep, all of them.
Yes. Her interview was fabulous. It was just so fun. High energy. Super excited about that. Guys, we did not get the interview dropped because of me earlier this week, so I apologize on that. Our producer stepped up and got everything put together, but I was just on the upheaval from travel. So I think it's good though. We'll do the live here. We're going to have an episode drop on Monday is kind of my thought process. And then that'll get us kind of ahead and rolling again. So as we start to close out, because we're coming up on an hour, I want to once again socialize the idea of doing online competitions as we come into the winter. So guys, if you have any thoughts,
set up.
Yep, the goal is to try to get some structure put together and film something. I'd like to get out there Friday or Saturday and film like a demo video so I can give an example of how we want to run it. But the idea is going to be like a super cheap little entry fee. It'll be like maybe $3 or something. And then we will take all of the input from people and we'll get awards put together, and we're actually going to place people out and take the submissions when people send us video of them doing the races, have some sort of standard format, and then take the time from the video and use that to compete people against one another in applicable divisions, and then give out awards. And it'll be really cool too, because we'll be able to air the videos as they're submitted into this platform, and then we can kind of view it like a little horse competition and then give out awards as we go. So I think that's going to be so much fun, especially in the winter, guys, where everything kind of cools off. Like as you're doing practice, we'll do it in like a smaller arena format. And the goal is that you essentially just run, and I'm thinking like 2 races back to back is my thought.
Yeah.
So it keeps people a little bit more honest. But essentially, like we set up like 2 cones to make our line, and you run out, and let's say you do mug shuffle and you run back, and we do that in like your smaller arena format, maybe 100 feet, whatever it is. And then you come back across the line, breathe for a second, and then you're going to run a second race, maybe a drill that we set up, which is going to be a little bit different from the standard races. And we'll take those 2 submissions and compete them. And I think that's going to be so much fun for winter motivation. We'll focus on like specific skill sets. So maybe it'll be like mugs or placements. And like Marco, like I'm so excited about it too. I have been like cooking this thing up for a while, and I was like, this is such a great platform for us to kind of launch it. It will help because like even the really tiny like donation is really going to help with the costs of, you know, running the platform, because it's expensive to maintain our streaming platform and equipment and everything else. So that will be super. But most motivation is then we can all be holding each other accountable through the winter and trying to improve our skill sets, and seeing what other people are up to. So super excited about that. So we will get a little bit more structure. I'm going to try to put it together this weekend. Might even, so guys, watch the group. If I can get the video recorded on like Friday, we might go ahead and launch it so we can start, you know, we'll talk about entries next week, but then the following week we'll go ahead and we'll compete each other. So keep an eye on the platform on Facebook for any announcements there. I'm super excited about it. If you guys have any ideas too, like if you want to come up with a drill, that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
so
send us a message or even a video like example of what you're talking about, what you're thinking about, and we'll definitely use it.
Yeah, send it to Carly, send it to me, our Unbridled page. And if we don't have a lot more going on, I think people are relaxing here. It's getting late, 9 p.m. So you guys have a wonderful evening. It was always a pleasure hanging out with you.
Thanks for joining us.
It's nice being back too. So we'll set up the competition. I can't wait. All right, guys, have a great evening, and we'll talk later. Bye. There's 2